Welcome to Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, the podcast that's been up and down like a whore's drawers over the past few days. This week on Heart and Hand, from the highs of Thursday to the lows of Sunday. So, welcome to Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast. My name's David Edgar, and I'm joined this week by two fellow Bears. One, the very handsome Mr. Andy McGowan.
Hello, David.
And two, the very virginal Mr. James Forrest.
Hello, David. Hello, Andy.
So, gentlemen, of course, only one place to start this week, and I have to confess to a huge feeling of disappointment after yesterday's 1-0 defeat at the House of Lies, because I felt that we were capable of going and competing more than we had previously, which, you know, we did, clearly. But I was, even though I understand why, and we'll come to the reasons, there are obviously reasons, not excuses, but there are reasons why Rangers set up and played the way they did. But put it this way, if the next time we play them, be it at Hampden or be it at Ibrox, we do not get in their faces and go out after them like a fucking hurricane, I'm going to be a very unhappy camper, Andy.
I was the same as you. I'll be honest, that going into this game, I couldn't see us not coming away with something. I was so confident, and based on the way we've been playing over the last 12 games, I just thought that we were capable of coming away with something. And I don't know if that was realistic looking back at it now, because the Thursday game in Russia obviously was a factor. On Sunday it had to be a factor. So maybe we should have taken that into consideration more in the context of what actually happened.
I think so. I mean, I think that clearly part of the setup that the manager, or rather the tactical plan, which was clearly to sit off and, you have to say, to try and defend deep and maybe hit Celtic on the counter or nick something from a set piece and frustrate them. You have to suppose, James, that was based on the manager taking into account the exertions on Thursday night and resulting physical and mental, probably more so mental tiredness that the players might be feeling after that.
I think after the first sort of 10-15 minutes of the game, it was very clear that was going to be the plan, and you were maybe hoping that if we were still in it with maybe 10-15 minutes to go, that the players would maybe push on a bit, we would start more attacks and see if we could nick a goal, either a draw or a win. But it was, partly down to the fact that Celtic really came out the traps early on and were really kind of pushing in the attack, and they were relentless in their attack as well.
They were after about 10 minutes. I thought the first 10 minutes that they sort of wanted to see. And remember, they weren't coming into this exactly in the best frame of mind. I thought they wanted to see what we had, what the lie of the land was. And I think that was our window of opportunity to try and get at them. And that might have altered the tenor of the match. After about 10 to 15 minutes, they kind of realised what we were doing, which was, you can have the ball and come at us. And they went at us. And for half an hour, up until the start of the second half, it was non-stop.
Yeah, and I think, we knew from the start that our players would be more tired than what would have been ideal. My hope was that we would maybe really go at them for that first sort of 10-15 minute spell, see if we can get a few shots, maybe get a goal or something like that, and then we do what we did, which was sort of sit and frustrate them, because I think the way that they would have approached the game would have been very different had they been one down by that point, and they would have found our playing style a lot more frustrating. But it was something that they were able to deal with a lot more, of course, when the game was still in the balance. And once they, as you say, once they settled into the game, it became a lot harder for us, and we needed to have really, really strong guys at the back. And luckily for us, we have that now in guys like Goldson and Katic and McGregor. We've got guys who are much more capable of dealing with that for longer spells. But it's not and never will be an ideal way to approach an Old Firm game.
I think, Andy, the issue I have is that to do that, it's a long old shift, and it just takes one to kind of undo it. I don't mind the old Walton Accio thing, but you've got to carry a threat up front, and we didn't. We played the ball long, it just kept coming back, and as the game went on, they grew more confident. Now, the argument I've seen is that around the time that we conceded the goal, their fans were starting to get frustrated, and so were their players, and that's possibly true. But again, it just takes one to shift that whole balance. Whereas I don't think we were offering enough to keep them honest at the back, if you know what I mean. So they didn't have to leave men back. They didn't have to be unduly concerned. It let them focus almost entirely on attack. And it really, in the first half, was very much just attack v defence.
Aye. After 10 minutes, I was surprised at how we were set up. And I was a wee bit worried at that point because it was totally unlike what we've seen today from the Gerrard Rangers team. So what we've seen over the last 12 games generally has been a very good, intelligent press. So I don't mean everybody's pressed up, I just mean that the likes of Ejaria, they would press at the right times without giving away the shape at the back or in the middle of the park. We weren't doing that yesterday. What we were doing was sitting in two banks of four, essentially. And maybe letting either Kent or Lafferty drift up too close to Morelos. And we were sitting in. And I thought, this is different. This is something that we've not seen so far. And you're right, the attacking threat wasn't there. What I've noticed is that in the Motherwell second half in Parkhead yesterday, we've not done what we have been good at, which is be brave in the ball, take the ball for the goalkeeper, let the centre halves build the play for the back, and actually work through teams and get them moving. We've tended to, as you said there, hit it long diagonally to Lafferty's head, take the easy option and just hit it long without actually trying to build play. And that was a concern to me yesterday because, as you say, as the game went on, that became the kind of default for us, and it just gave Celtic a signal to say, look, we're going to hit the ball back up to you. They're good at building for the back. We're not going to press you too much at the back, and they can pick their play. So as the game went on, their pressure was increasing as we know, and eventually it got to the point where we were so entrenched in what we'd started to do that we couldn't get out. We couldn't start playing the football we know we can play, and we only seen slight glimpses of it in the last 10-15 minutes. That actually something started to change.
I think that for me the problem there, as I say, was it allowed Celtic to just focus entirely on coming forward without having to worry about their weakest area, which is their defence. So their defenders could push up, and Rangers never really looked like troubling them in that first half. We also allowed Ncham, who's their best player by some distance, to play. Having watched the game back, because obviously when you're sitting watching it at the time and everything seems as though it's going to be, heart in the mouth stuff the whole time, a few things to point out is that Celtic didn't really get in behind us that often. Now, yes, they have, as has been pointed out endlessly, they hit the bar twice in the first half with a long shot and a header at a set piece, but they weren't playing their way through us or just walking through us the way they did in matches we've seen recently. Connor Goldson was even better watching it back than I thought he'd been at the time, and I thought he'd been good, don't get me wrong, but he's a magnificent centre-half, James.
Goldson is a colossus. He really is. It's no coincidence, I think, that our worst defensive display of the season, which was at Fir Park, coincided with his worst game for us. I think he is magnificent at what he does, both in a defensive sense, but also, I've said it before, he's got a wee bit of the Bougherra about him. His distribution's very good, and he can come out with the ball a wee bit as well. So he's got the full package. We should feel very, very, pleased to have a defender as good as that at the stage that he is at his career with us. I think he's fantastic, and yeah, you're right. He's not someone who's going to get bullied by any attack when he's on form. And we said this actually after the Motherwell game. Well, we hope that's that's his bad game out the way, and he'll have two solid performances against Ufa and Celtic, and he absolutely did. It's just a shame that the result went the way that it did, but he absolutely, among a couple of other guys in the team, I think as well, did all that he could to help the side.
As the half went on, Celtic, as I say, had most of the play. But like I said, when you watch it back, they weren't playing their way through us. Their wide men weren't getting a lot of change. And our strategy in terms of defending was, to a point, working. We did rely on some good saves. Alan McGregor making a good stop from Edouard, although he really should have scored. And, of course, as I say, they hit the bar twice. And you can say we rode our luck a little bit. One thing that I do want to say that's kind of annoyed me is I've read on social media quite a lot is people saying, well, if it wasn't for the defenders and the goalkeeper, it could have been 5-0. And it's like, well, yes, that's why you have defenders and a goalkeeper. That's why we bought better ones. That's why we didn't just keep Russell Martin. That's the idea of it. So that's not luck. That's us planning for this. But I did think that we looked jaded, and I did think that we sat off them, and it didn't really look like the Rangers team that we'd been witnessing up to this point. Into the second half, and more of the same, but less continual at this point. And maybe the game plan was working. And look, hey, if it stays 0-0, it's a decent result, or if we nick one, it's a brilliant result. So it is the fine margins. But again, Andy, if you set yourself up that way, it is fine margins. It does come down. Then you're setting yourself up basically wholly for the result, which means if you get the result, great. But if you don't, then there's not very much for people to hang their hat on to.
Yeah. I mean, you're spot on about the fact that Celtic weren't playing through us, and most of their attack, not most of them, but most of their dangerous moments in the game were coming for wide balls or set pieces, and the multitude of corner kicks that we kept giving them. One wee thing I wanted to point out was about Arfield. Arfield is one of our best pressing players, and yesterday he didn't press, but the reason he didn't press is for that exact reason. What we're talking about is Celtic's ability to play through teams is Callum McGregor. He's a link man, and Arfield shielded McGregor the whole game. That's the quietest I've seen McGregor against Rangers ever, and that was because of that tactic. So I don't think we need to turn this into we played well or anything like that, but I think we do need to look at what actually we were set up for, which was to stop them doing their natural game, and they were reduced to getting Tierney as wide as possible, the odd ball for him, but mostly it was free kicks in and around the box and the corner kicks, as you say. The problem is that the way we set up there is we need to get the first goal really to have a chance of winning the game. Once you lose a goal, it becomes very, very hard then to turn that game for what you've been playing into the kind of attacking force that we've seen to kind of try and get a result out of it. There was no zip yesterday, there was no legs, and again, can we be surprised at that after the kind of mountainous result we got in Russia? I don't think we can underestimate that. But I'll go back to what I said earlier. I think we could have had a different game yesterday if we'd been a wee bit braver on the ball. And for that, I'm talking about our three midfielders, Ajaria, Ryan Jack, and Arfield. I just thought that we didn't take the ball off the goal enough, we didn't take the ball off the centre halves enough, we didn't try to do the things that we're good at, which is play football through the field. And I think if you're no holding on to the ball, you're going to have wave after wave of attack, especially when Celtic with their tails up. That's how it played out yesterday. I think that was our biggest problem.
I totally agree. I think Rangers set up to play 50% of a football match, which was the defensive side, and that was clearly the intention. That's how we were set up, and they did it. And to be honest, they did it well. But we expect a bit more, certainly in this particular game. I hoped for a bit more. I get that there are circumstances, but it's left me flat. It's left me disappointed. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. And we'll come to, I'm not panicking or thinking, we're doomed or anything. No, we're not even close to it. I understand the circumstances, but it was a bit frustrating. But to echo your point, I 100% agree. There was a lack of that word that you used there, was bravery on the ball. There was a lack of wanting the ball in tight spaces but using it for possession, trying the pass, moving it, doing the things that we've done. And look, when you're playing for Rangers, to get anywhere, you have to be brave on the ball, because A, it's going to be in big matches like that against Celtic, or B, you're going to be getting pressed or harried, or teams with massive defensive lines against you domestically. So you have to have that confidence in yourself to take the ball. And we have been doing it, but we didn't do it at all yesterday. In the end, we just resorted to lumping it to the two strikers, who, there wasn't an awful lot they can do. And you end up, James, you don't play to a striker then, you start playing at them. And that's all Rangers were doing, which was get ball, kick vaguely in direction of Lafferty or Morelos, hope. And you're not going to score from that position. And more importantly, you're not even going to threaten to get Celtic thinking about, we need to leave a man back, we need to do this, we need to do that. You let them focus entirely on their game.
It's a hard task for any attacker to be, playing that game. More often than not, the ball was up to Lafferty in the hope that he's going to knock it on for Morelos, and then either he takes on the shot, or he maybe plays it back to Lafferty or something like that. And if that's what you're going to do for 90 minutes, then you've got to be, you're always going to need that little bit of luck for it to come off on that one occasion. I get why the thinking was that's something we need to do, because again, it's about the tiredness factor, and these guys would have been a bit knackered, possibly less so Morelos for obvious reasons, of course, but it's not a fun task, that it's not an easy task, that, but Lafferty being in there, he's going to do that job for you, if you ask him to do that, and I thought he did it manfully.
If you watch the game back again, folks, Lafferty, the work he put in yesterday, getting up and down the field, supporting his fullback as well, I mean, he put one hell of a shift in, and because it was a lot of work rather than anything that you can point to and say, well, that was brilliant from him, I don't think he'll get much praise. But in terms of the guy, we were wondering, the guy we signed, is he a different type of player? The Kyle Lafferty the first time round didn't do that. It wasn't his game, but he had a hell of a shift yesterday, and I was really impressed, as I say, with even there was 5 minutes to go and he made a 70-yard run tracking back to stop Celtic getting easy possession. It was things like that, and I just thought deserved praise.
Yeah, no, he thrives in games like these, of course, as we well know. And what's interesting is we kind of look like, based on all our European games, that we've got a very kind of settled side for games like that, where your attacking trio is going to be Candeias, Morelos and Kent. But when we were thinking what the lineup's going to be, I think every person who I spoke to said Lafferty's in there, and most likely he'll be on the left or on the right or something like that. So, it's very obvious that these are games that he thrives on, and as you say, he showed yesterday that he really wants to impress in these games, because he's not afraid of them. That's the thing, and it's what we've said as well. Lots of players that we've had, and maybe a couple that we still have this fear of these kind of games, but we're starting to, it's the same for McGregor as well. These guys don't fear that, and you saw that with Goldson too. So there's less fear involved, which is why I think that, result and performance, yes, disappointing, but you can't criticise the heart of the team, I think, because they showed a lot more than what we've seen going back a good couple of years. So small positives you can take from situations like that, but I think that's one of them. And performances like Lafferty's and Golson's and McGregor's are prime examples of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I can't criticise the effort and the work rate, and I'm sure there are people at home sitting saying what I would normally say in those circumstances, which is, yeah, but that should be a given. But we saw Andy last season when it wasn't a given, and when players didn't work as hard as they had to do. So that is good. But again, while there was no fear of Celtic, and I'd agree with that, I think we showed them too much respect.
Absolutely. I mean, the what we've seen so far for the Gerrard Rangers is that they are well coached, they're well drilled. Everybody in the team knows their role, and they're playing for each other. And the kind of kind of dovetail with each other, if you like. So if you look at combinations around the park, you've got Tavernier and Candias, you've got Arfield and Ejaria have done well together. Things like that are happening, which gives me great heart going forward, and was one of the reasons going into the game. I thought we were a team that would be able to go to Parkhead and kind of do what we tried to do yesterday, which is sit in to a degree, but able to hit them on the break. With regards Lafferty, he had a shift. I don't think it had much impact in the game, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't. He didn't going forward. No.
I don't think he did that, to be honest. But he's got a greater appreciation, both literally and football wise, of being at Rangers. I think he's come back acknowledging the fact that he's a very, very lucky professional football player to get back here, given the circumstances the first time round. So the only thing I would say yesterday, and this is a criticism, is that I thought that physically we didn't match up to Celtic as well as we could. One of the things I've been really happy with in terms of the recruitment is the stature, the build, the physique and the physicality of players generally that we've signed. But yesterday I felt, and it may have just been because I was in the game and I was getting frustrated, I thought that a lot of times we weren't coming out with balls that we should have been winning, and that was for players that should be doing it, like Ryan Jack and Morelos at times. I think the key area was obviously the middle of the park, and Ejaria, who for the start of the season I thought he's a cracking player, but we could see that there's a physical deficiency for a guy that's 6 foot odds, and it was showing up yesterday. I thought he was absolutely boss, and Cham, who had the power and the work rate, that it blew him away, to be honest. And I think that was one of the key areas yesterday, that we're talking about trying to be brave in the ball and playing football. Ejaria is key to that, because he is good in the ball and he can take a ball with a man at his back. Yesterday that never happened because physically he just wasn't at it.
I agree totally. Physically he wasn't capable, I don't think, yesterday, and he looked like he was done. He looked as he had nothing in his legs, and he was a passenger, in all honesty. And I agree, I think he's a good player. I think he's been important for us. I think he's played well for us. But yesterday was not his game. I was surprised that he started, in all honesty, because he put such a shift in on Thursday night that I thought the manager might freshen it up in there a little bit. And as we say, ironically, of course, Rangers concede when they are a bit further forward. Ryan Jack gets caught by Tom Rogic on the edge of the box. I thought it was a free kick. At the time, but still, I'm not gonna, for all the gleeful Tims that'll be listening into the show, trying to who are waiting for me to greet about it. We've still got 80 yards to deal with it, and we don't. So from that point of view, shit happens. It's one of those decisions, James, that I think a referee gives if it's a defender, because if it's on a defender rather, as we saw with Morelos and Lafferty, he gave them constantly. But because it would lead to an attacking free kick, it's one of those fouls. It's never going to be a penalty for a foul like that, for example. Further up the park, he gives it no bother. I think it's easier to just not give that, but it probably was a foul, I thought. But afterwards, they then break, and Ejaria misses his opportunity to haul Rogic down, which he should have done, and took the foul, took the booking. Celtic break on us, have the advantage. Poor from him and Tav. They don't work hard enough to get back. Celtic cut us open, tap in for Edouard, 1-0. Dynamic of the game totally changed.
Aye, on the foul, I was kind of with you at the time. I thought foul, but looking back on that, I get your point. It's probably about where in the park that does take place. I think that's fair. In the middle of the park, you probably do give that. I'm not a referee. I know there's a few guys who are, so they probably have a better kind of scope for that kind of thing as to whether that really makes a huge difference in terms of where in the park, outside the penalty area, of course. But you're right, that's not the defining fact. I know after the game, Steven Gerrard was saying that, the fourth official saying it's a foul. But where the fourth official is and where the referee is at that point, you're kind of like, so it's a tricky one, but the problem is Ejaria not bringing down the man, absolutely. And if if he does that, and if you flip that, if it was us on the break and a Celtic player brings down one of our guys in that position, we'd be absolutely livid. But you've got to that's being professional. You've got to take the foul, you've got to take the booking if you've got to. But I don't think Ejaria is that kind of player that is necessarily about, you talk about attacking work rate and defensive work rate. I think Ejaria is much more attack minded than he is defensively. Not to say that undermines him as a player, because I think you're right. I think he has been very, very good for us up to now, but I almost think that games like these aren't quite what he's ready for yet. I think he's still got some maturing to do in terms of, these emotional games almost. Ideally, you'd have had someone like Koulibaly in there.
Oh, we missed him dreadfully.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if he was fit, he would have been in there instead of Ejaria without question. And I think he would have brought Rogic down in that area, no question whatsoever. But again, we're talking about this once again. Tavernier getting caught out in position, not tracking back, because he, again, we talk about attacking work rate and defensive work rate. Tav is just, as a defensive fullback, he frustrates you so much. Even though he actually probably had one of his better defensive games, he's still not there at the crucial moment, and it's just annoying as hell that you have to say this time and time again. And the guy has so many defenders, ironically enough, but it's just, how many times do we need to go over this with the guy? He needs to work on this part of his game a lot more, because too often, especially at the moment in games, we're finding that he's one of the, if not the culpable guy in conceding goals. So it's very frustrating. But at the time, and again looking back on it, the goal came at a point where you're thinking, it's only a matter of time if we continue to play like this. And as you say, the frustrating thing is when we actually start to show a bit of attacking intent, it's when we concede. So, the game plan up to that point has either just gone out the window and they've tried something else, or that was always part of the plan, get it to 60 and then, let's press up a wee bit, let's try and see if we can nick a goal. So, very frustrating.
Andy?
I thought Ryan Jack was really poor at that. So forget about the foul. I thought his attempt to win the ball in the air was diabolical, to be honest, for a guy of his capabilities. I was really disappointed. It was a foul. When you hear John Beaton saying it's a foul, that tells you how much of a foul it was, right? I don't think you should be losing the ball at that part of the pitch and losing a goal for it. As we know, we've just spoke about that. So I think Ejaria and Tav, you've covered that, James. But what I want to say about the decision on the foul is, in the context of that game, Colin was getting fouls for things against Morelos, right? Yeah. Where you would look at them and say, right, if that's a foul, how in the name of fuck is that not a foul then? Because it was just one of the ones where, in the context of the game, you say, well, that's a foul, because he'd been getting foul all game for it. And he doesn't for some reason there. Now, I'm not going to say, right, refs are out to get us and all this kind of carry on. I'm not into that, right? But what I will say is, Caixinha had this last year, and I'm not saying Caixinha would still be here or anything like that, right? Don't even start saying that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Caixinha was sunk before he even get a chance, because we look back at the Hibs game and all that kind of stuff last season, because of poor decisions, and the accumulation of them was that semi-final against Motherwell, which was actually his swan song. Gerrard's getting fine margins against him when it comes to referees in Scotland, which are costing us big time. Right? We've got the Aberdeen game, we've got periods of the Motherwell game, we've got that yesterday, we've got the sending off at St Mirren. These are things that, over the kind of body of evidence, you can say, right, well, hold on a wee minute, is this just refereeing standards are so piss poor, or is it a case that everybody in Scotland is subject to these? I don't know. But yesterday, that was a foul. We should have dealt with it better. But I was really disappointed in Ryan Jack's attempt. I thought it was a bread and butter winning the ball in the air, and that had been back in their box.
I think Partick Thistle fans this weekend would probably say it's all of them. For those of you who haven't seen it, just look at Partick Thistle disallowed goal from the weekend, which was spectacular in its ineptness. Then after it, Celtic, I think, decide that they'll sit back and try and hit us on the break. Rangers do come more into it. Alfie works himself a good chance and forces a save from the goalkeeper. Our best chance falls a few minutes for the end. James Tavernier in the box takes a shot early but screws it wide, and then the game sort of just peters out. Rangers get much more territorially and are obviously coming forward, but don't create an awful lot during that period, if we're being totally honest. And in the end, much as it pains me to say it, Celtic deserved their victory. They were the better side on the day. We've touched upon the circumstances of the travel from Russia, which I think is probably the main thing, and a gruelling match as well, but I think the travel in particular just adds to that, just, if you like, amplifies that and makes it more of an issue. And I think that there have been signs that the team could do with this couple of weeks anyway, of the international break over the last wee while. So we've got here just now. But I'll be quite honest, Andy, right? I fucking hate those cunts, right? And it's not even, I'm not even trying to be amusing with that. It's just, I cannot fucking stand them. I hate everything about them, from the fucking Meccano Stadium to the almost stultifying uniform ugliness of their crowds, to their shitey kit, to their fucking media lapdogs. Everything about them. They are the evil empire, right? Horrible, horrible cunts. And I admit, I am just desperate for Rangers to give them the well-deserved black eye that they fucking deserve. And does that magnify my disappointment today, when maybe I should be being more reasonable and going, well, this, that, the other, look at the circumstances, etc.?
It's only natural, Davey. As I say, I was disappointed because I felt we were capable of so much more football-wise, and as you say, this desire just to turn the corner when it comes to playing Celtic is palpable amongst us Spurs, so it's only natural. However, I've got a wee bit of a different angle on this. I'm a wee bit more sanguine than I should be for a Rangers supporter that's just watched my team get beat yesterday afternoon for the whatever time it was. What you've got to remember, and what I would say to my fellow Bears that I'm privileged enough to speak to in this podcast, is that what you've got to remember here is that their world will collapse if we ever get this right. And they're singing about 10 in a row. Mentally, they've achieved 10 in a row. And the hubris is there for all to see, you know what I mean? Laps on and all this kind of stuff. If this doesn't come through for them, then you're talking about a mental scarring, which is up there with Helicopter Sunday again. So we have got to sit here and remember that they've got so much more to lose than us right now. Do you know that? And I think at some point, if we lay a glove on them, because that was the annoying thing yesterday, we didn't really, over the 90 minutes, we didn't lay a glove on them, for being serious. But over the piece, over this season, if we start to apply a wee bit of pressure to them, and actually the seed of doubt is put back in their mind, because I think the seed of doubt was starting to ferment with this transfer window, right? Because they're sitting there saying, we're throwing away 10 in a row and all this crap, right? I think if we can actually get that to actually grow a wee bit, then you've got a chance. Now, we go back to when we were kind of super dominant and we were going for 9 in a row, 10 in a row and all this kind of stuff. Once you go 10 in a row, I don't know about you too, but you start to get squeaky bum time, as Fergie used to say, because once you get to that point, it's all or nothing. Nobody's ever going to look back and say, I remember the 8 in a row team with Celtic, and 6 of them were when Rangers were in the bottom leagues. Nobody's going to say that's a good thing. They need to achieve 10 in a row. We need to remember that, and we need to remember that this house of cards phrase that's becoming more and more apparent is a true thing. Now, if we didn't beat them yesterday, and if we did beat them yesterday, does it mean anything along the bigger scale? Probably a wee bit of black eye, as you say, plus it gives us tremendous belief. But going into this season, what we've seen the last 12 games, personally speaking, I've got tremendous belief. I am telling everybody that listen to me, I still believe that we will challenge. I might be dreadfully wrong, and I might be eating humble pie in 2 months' time, I don't know. But I just think that there's a wee bit more palpable resilience, there's a wee bit more quality in the team, and this will come right because we've got the right man in charge.
I think so. I mean, people know who listen to the show. I love the manager. I think he's doing well overall. I think he got it wrong yesterday. I thought his substitutions as well were too late, and I think he had a bad day at the office. But he's had more good ones so far, and I think that we are on the right track. And we do need to remember. I know this is boring for people, but we do need to remember it is 2 months into it. He said a great thing afterwards where he said they've had 150 games, we've had 12, and it's spot on. We need to keep moving forward. We have a series of matches which on paper, James, should be 15 points coming up now, and I think this is the test. I think that we'll be in a better place to judge where we are in a month, because I would say overall, you take everything into context, you look at Europe, you look at, domestically, which has been disappointing, and I know that some people have said 5 from 12, worst since 1989. Well, firstly, we won the fucking league that year, and secondly, I think we can all see why the situation is. But yes, I'm disappointed. I was more disappointed in terms of the result with Motherwell and Aberdeen, because that's 4 points we should have had, in which case nobody would be bothered at all. But I do think that he's the right guy, but he did yesterday have a bad day at the office, I thought.
Oh, without doubt, he's the right guy. But yes, he got it wrong yesterday. Particularly the substitutions. I was, I'm screaming and thinking, where is Candace? I was thinking, why did it take so long to get him on, and why is Middleton coming on before Candace and stuff like that? Because I'm thinking, someone like that that's going to help out to have a wee bit more. Who's got that bit of press and a bit of speed and a bit of drive would have really made a difference. So I don't quite understand why it took so long for that substitution to happen. But I think it's important to remember as well, you talk about the league, 4 games so far. 3 of those 4 games are probably some of the toughest games that you're going to get in the league this season. Away at Aberdeen, who, we are their cup final every single year. Every time that they play us, we are their cup final. So they're going to give everything there. And for the first game of the season, that's amped up even more. And it's just 6 seconds of switching off right at the end that costs us getting a very, very respectable victory, considering the circumstances. St Mirren, routine win, considering we're down to 10 men for a long period of that as well. Motherwell, they are, they're going to be one of the, tougher teams to play in the league this season by far, and the way that they play is that's how they play. I'm not going to criticise it. That you've got to be able to match that, but they are tough as well. And then you've got the Midden yesterday as well. So that is a tough set of fixtures to start with, and 5 points from 12 isn't good enough. It's never going to be good enough for Rangers, absolutely. But then, if you take into account not only Europe but the League Cup as well, away at Kilmarnock, that's not an easy fixture, as was found last season. But probably our best domestic performance came in that game. So again, there's another sign of improvement. And Europe just blows the idea of this season up to now being somewhere in the region of, and I'm quoting what other people have said here, disastrous. Yes, completely nonsense. It's not at all, because did anyone expect us to be in this position in Europe? No, not at all. I think the majority of us thought that Maribor would be the kind of curtain call for us on that for this season, and to be where we are in that is sensational. And see, to be honest, if you had given me that scenario the past week there of we get the result at Ufa but we just come up short against Celtic, I'd have probably taken that, because Europe, for what it gives us, for the prestige, for the income that it gets, for the nights under the floodlights at Ibrox, absolutely by far that outweighs one game of theirs, because we've got another 3 games against them over the season. And the point that Andy made about they'll implode if they don't do 10, they will implode the next time that we beat them, because in their opinion they are completely unstoppable against us. If we beat them just a one time, then that will be, you will see something rather remarkable from them. I absolutely guarantee it. And the fact that we lost yesterday, it just means we're one step closer to getting that win.
That's a positive way of looking at it. Although I must admit, I feel confident going forward that we are going to beat them. And I know that some Rangers fans will say, "Oh, there's nothing to suggest that." I don't think that's true. I really don't. And I'd love to be playing them on Wednesday at Ibrox. I would love a go at that. But it is what it is, and we'll need to wait. Speaking of the Hooped Hordes, there's a cognitive dissonance, I think, in some of their pronunciations and their actions, because of course, you know, that we don't exist, and we are only saying they don't really consider us our rivals and all that shite. And I'm sure some of you have seen John Hartson saying that if Celtic are Manchester City, then Rangers are QPR, or West Brom a Championship side, and Aberdeen are our biggest rivals. Yet the biggest attendance at the ground this season, they do a fucking lap of honour, which is just, honestly, I've never heard anything quite so pathetic. And then they're all over social media jizzing their pants about getting a victory. Like I say, I don't judge people on their words, I judge them in their actions. And I think that Celtic aren't as good at hiding things as... Well, they were good at hiding things in the past, Andy, but even that's starting to come out now.
Can we talk about that? No.
Not yet. Not yet. Give it a month or two.
I'll tell you a wee kind of insight for yesterday. So I was lucky enough to be there. Well, lucky enough, I say lucky enough to get a ticket, I should say. And I made my way up Springfield Road through the Emirates to the kind of London Road bit where we go into the stadium. And they call us zombies, right? Which is amusing, because if you've ever watched Dawn of the Dead, right, you remember when all the zombies kind of make their way kind of intuitively to the shopping mall, because that's where they go, and they all stand at the wire fence, but they can't get through the wire fence because they're too stupid to get through it, so they all just stand there and stare through the wire fence at the shopping mall. Well, yesterday, we turned up at London Road, and as the Bears were gathering, I looked across to their kind of car park space in front of the main stand, a magnificent main stand of theirs, and they were all standing at the wire fence, staring out at us, and trying to shout at us, and trying to sing things at us, and I was like, this is like Dawn of the Dead. Why are they not, are we in the ground, or are we amusing ourselves or something like that? They had to make it their business
to go and see you.
To try and find us. After the game, was he saying?
Not so much Dawn of the Dead, Andy, as Dawn of the Inbred. Or Dawn of the Ned, perhaps.
Dawn of the Ned, that's a good one. So the kind of, it was amusing because we were like, what the fuck are they doing? They're standing shouting out at us, we couldn't really hear them. And then we could eventually hear, you're no Rangers anymore. So, you're right, they're a strange bunch. They were no Rangers, but that is a sellout. I believe that I was right at the segregation, and there was the section there, I believe, was the part that they had to sell additional tickets for. So every single one of those clowns sitting there bought that specifically to come and see their team play us. They unveil a banner at half time, you're not Rangers anymore. And then at the end of the game, because they beat whoever we are, I don't know who we are, but they beat us for one goal, there's a lap of honour. And there's not just a lap of honour. I was actually thinking, fuck it, when's the trophy coming out? Because it was a bit much, it was a bit forced, and even everything from their stadium announcer to the kind of scoreboard, everything's a bit, they have to tell us that they're the best and the finest, and alright, we get it. I can't remember us being like that.
I think it is that inferiority. Yeah, it's true. It's the same when they contact me on social media, and I don't know why they bother. I could just block the fuckers. You know, if I wanted to read comments by illiterates, I would walk to a local special school, which, funnily enough, is a saint something. But it's always affirmation. It's always, we're great, we're so wonderful, you can't even challenge us. And it's like, who are you trying to convince here, me or you? It's very much their mindset, and it's just a peculiar. I mean, their inferiority complex is well deserved. They have mirrors, I'm sure, so it's understandable that they have that sense of inferiority. And who knows? Maybe it's the schools. I don't quite know. Now, before we move on, Andy, you did want to draw attention to some of the Neanderthal behaviour from some of their players.
So I've got a bit of being my bonnet about policing and security and the kind of general planning at football matches ever since the Scottish Cup final. Call me crazy, but I do, right? And if something happens at games, I tend to flag it up and I'll contact the match commander or the club or whatever, because I think it needs to be drawn attention. Now this isn't just a Rangers thing, this is a wider football support thing. So if there are any other team supporters listening to this, as crazy as it may sound, this is something that affects them as well, because we read about the crushing yesterday at the turnstiles at Parkhead, and to be honest, this is because of barcode entry, and this is something that last year I wrote to Partick Thistle and the Chief Inspector, the match commander, as I do, and says, see your barcode entry, it doesn't work, it's a joke, and actually you shouldn't even have a safety certificate. So that's that out of the way. But what I was wanting to point out yesterday, because a lot of bears wouldn't have seen it because they were watching it on the TV, is that they said lap of honour, right? So we were told before the game that by email and through Greg Marshall, the supporters liaison, that we were going to be kept in after the game, and that's fair enough, because anybody that's been to away games in Europe and stuff like that, that's kind of part of the course, and it helps the police manage the exit for the ground, so that's fair enough. So every bear in there knew they were going to be kept in. I'd actually asked a couple of coppers, he says, 10-15 minutes, pal, don't worry about it. Right, great. So they then start this lap of honour. So how this lap of honour came about was because Rangers players went off the park, and Gerrard seen them off the park. And Gerrard, I think, generally waits for the opposition team to come off the park as well and shake their hands as well. But the Celtic team as a whole were sitting milling about in the middle of the park as if they were waiting for something. And then eventually they decided to walk around the park as a lap of honour. Like, this was a full-blown lap of honour. Scarves a lot, wee boys running out the crowd to get a shirt and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, what are they doing this for? And why are they doing it when they know we're kept in here? So gradually the Rangers fans were just sitting there saying, when are we getting out here? But it came to the point where they actually ended up at our corner. And they ended up at our corner, and obviously they're getting it big likes. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have had a lap on it. You can have a lap on if you want, because football and rivalry and all this kind of stuff, perfectly legitimate, understandable. But when they got to our corner, you've got the club captain of Celtic went absolutely tonto in front of us, and not just in front of us, at us, looking at us, doing all his actions. You'd be Griffiths doing his stuff, and I defy any football supporter in the world to sit there and watch that, because what happened was there was nearly a riot, and the Rangers fans down the front or ran to the front, and there was a confrontation with the police. The police were actually stopping Rangers fans getting on the park, and we would have seen repeats of what we've seen in the Scottish Cup final, or not, if not worse, because I dare say if we go in that park, then there'll be Celtic fans on the park. So there was a real danger of things going badly wrong there yesterday. To the point where the Rangers fans were not taking their anger, but they were venting their frustrations to the assembled police there and telling them, why are we stuck in here and why are you letting that happen? So eventually I think the decision was made to let the Rangers fans out, and we went out and we left. And as we're walking down Springfield Road now, anybody that's been to Parkhead in the past couple of years since the Commonwealth Games regeneration will know that Springfield Road's a totally different environment now. You've got the Legacy Hub, you've got the Emirates, you've got the nice wee Commonwealth Village, all that kind of stuff. I have never, ever seen a Celtic fan anywhere near that street when the Rangers fans are getting back to the bus. See, yesterday, they were at either side of that road for some reason. So they were actually standing at the side of the road, held back by police for whatever reason, I don't know. Sometimes one cop, and there was real danger. And eventually it blew up and they had to get the horses and all the rest of it. So the reason I'm bringing it up is purely and simply because I think it needs to be brought up. I think there needs to be a spotlight put on the policing and the security at all football matches now, because this isn't the first time this is happening. I think Celtic's head of security, whatever his name is, has to be asked, why are you letting that happen on a park? Why are you not telling that team, actually, you need to get off the park, pal, because you could cause bother? What was the match commander doing? Was a lap of honour a premeditated thing? Did they know it was going to happen? Did they do it every match? I don't know. The bottom line is, I want to stop Rangers fans and in particular kids at games being put in danger by things that shouldn't be happening, things that should be mitigated for. I'd be interested to see what comes of this. I doubt anything will come of it, but and I think they'll be preoccupied with the crushing at the turnstiles, which is fair enough, I suppose. But there's a bigger picture here. I think football supporters in general are being put at risk when they shouldn't be.
No, I would totally agree with you there. And as I say, I mean, they're just such a classless lot, and it goes from the boardroom right through that club. Then they wonder. That's why they have to constantly demand that people love them. It's because they know that any normal human being despises them because they are fucking hateable. James?
I can only just echo the thoughts of Andy. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I didn't have a first-hand experience. But from what he's saying, I believe it. You know, I can imagine that situation happening, no doubt as well. One thing that I do want to raise, one thing that I have noticed is there was a lot of talk of Celtic fans when they were arriving and leaving. You know, there was issues of them getting crushed, or not to Hillsborough levels, but there could have been a potential for that, which is frankly scandalous for something like that to happen. For anyone to be in that situation at a football ground is not on at all. And there is, you have to remember the reason why there's so many more Celtic fans there is because Celtic have reacted to our decision to cut the allocation. Now, a lot of people turn around, and I've spoken to people that they say, "Oh, you only did that because we keep beating you at your mob," and it's like, well, it's not that at all. We are taking our fans first because there's a higher demand for season tickets, and we've made that decision that we're going to put our fans' priorities first. Now, we can legislate for that, absolutely. It's what Celtic have done is they've just reacted to it, but they've not really thought it through. If an incident did happen, then someone involved in that process of organising, fans going to that game, they would have had a hell of a lot to answer for. So, we're thankful that nothing bad did happen. But if it did, then that's they've done that on the back of what we've done, which is perfectly legitimate. So, there seemed like a lot of issues yesterday, and it seemed strange that. It seems strange that all sorts of things go on, but it's an Old Firm game. Things are going to happen. You're going to get stories now of people getting chased, people getting stabbed, all that kind of stuff, and it's just a nonsense. They are the most hypocritical lot that you could ever find when they say, you don't matter to us anymore, and yet they act like that. It's stupid. It's pathetic from them. Good riddance.
James, I agree with everything you said there, and I think it is an important point, but I was really kind of aiming more for you to just go with what a bunch of cunts are Celtic angle. So
I know, but trying to give
you're gonna you're the kind of posh Ponzi one now on the show, right? I'm grooming you to take over, not Celtic grooming. I'm grooming you to take over from Scott, and read me better, James. I was going for, basically what I wanted you to do was to call them all cunts, challenge them to a fight, and then sing the sash with add-ons. So just sit there and think about what you didn't do. I think is probably.
Can I make up for it by telling a story about Gigi Picali?
Maybe next week. Right, just before we wrap up for the show. Oh, before we do, I think this is obviously negative after an Old Firm defeat, but I think overall, I wish we had 4 more points. Right, absolutely. But if you'd said to me that we would be in the position we are right now at the start of the season, Andy, I would have fucking swallowed, I was going to say your hand, but other appendages if necessary, to be here.
I'm over the moon with where we are, regardless of yesterday. And going into this game yesterday, I still said, if we get beat, there is too much going on correctly on and off the park, but particularly on the park, to throw the baby out with the bathwater because you get beat half Celtic. Now, the European thing is, you can't just have that in a bubble and say, well, that's Europe and this is domestic. No. You have to look at a squad of the piece. We have had a super early start that's sunk us many a time before, sunk better teams than us as well. We've come through it fantastically well. Sunday package was just a bridge too far. Probably understandable. Probably give them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, there was things we could do better, but I think this team and most Bears listeners that have watched the team should be taking great heart for where we are. We've got players that haven't even kicked a ball for us yet. We've got Gresder, we've got
Worrell.
the boy Worrell just signed as well, who incidentally looks like a big shithouse when you see him in the flesh.
Good.
I'm very positive going forward. You mentioned the next 12 games. I just think if we get through September, we should be fine, and then we take it from there.
Now, we have an announcement, drum roll in your head, etc. And that is that they said I would never play at Ibrox. Well, it turns out they were wrong, because on Friday the 28th of September, Heart and Hand Live will be taking place in the Ibrox suite at Ibrox Stadium. Yes, the club have asked us to do one of our live nights at the stadium. And obviously we have agreed. A big signing for them, James, this summer, Heart and Hand Live.
Yes, massive. I'm incredibly excited about this, so much so that I'm going to cut a holiday date one short so that I can make it. It's going to be, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for it. But yeah, brilliant. Kudos to both yourself and everyone involved. I think it has to be said, because of the work that's gone in and the community that's been built up. Everyone involved, listeners, whether you're on Patreon or not, you've kind of contributed toward this happening. So yeah, it's onwards and upwards. Happy days.
Tickets will go on sale for this on Thursday night at 7:00 online. They'll be on sale on our Twitter feed, be on sale to patrons on the Patreon site before that, though. They'll get exclusivity at it, and we're very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night, and I think it should be entertaining, Andy. I think we will very much look forward to it. There's going to be journalists coming hoping that we say certain words.
I was going to say, we've had a good run. I've enjoyed it, Davey. Enjoy your retirement.
Enjoy my retirement at HMP Saughton. I hear the rooms are fairly uniform. So, yeah, please keep your eyes peeled. You'll be able to get tickets, as I say, on our Twitter, on our website, heartandhand.co.uk, which we urge you all to visit. And you can also now follow us on Instagram, which is just Heart and Hand Podcast. At Instagram, if you search for us, all the latest news, cool stuff happening over there, please go and have a look at it. And, of course, if you want to donate more money to us, I should point out, incidentally, you're not just donating money to us with this live show, it's the club. That's the point of it. That's why we're doing it. But although, of course, with ticket prices coming out, and I'll just get your thoughts on that actually before we wrap up, gents. Ticket prices for the 3 European games for season ticket holders, the package is £105. Your thoughts, Andy?
I think it's fair.
Great, fair enough. And with that, then, I will just tell you to visit us on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heart and Hand. Usually 4 or 5 shows per day on everything related to football and other stuff as well, actually. I think you'll enjoy it. Please check it out. Just $1.99 per month. Thank you to our executive producers in London, Mr. Knightley and Paul Miles. And thank you to my 2 guests today, the irrepressible James Forrest.
Thank you very much, David.
The ever wonderful Mr. Andy McGowan.
Pleasure as always, David.
I'll be back to talk to you next week. There's no Heart and Hand Extra this week because obviously we don't have a game to preview due to the international break. But until I speak to you again, everyone have a fabulous week, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers, bye.